Our Committee on Gubernatorial Appointments will come to order, and we'll call the roll.
Senators O'Laughlin,
Here.
Luetkemeyer, Bean, Beck, Bratton, Brown, Berger, Moon, Mosley, Roberts, Williams. You have a quorum.
We do have a quorum. First up will be Shane Weber, sponsored by Senator Crawford for the Missouri Real Estate Appraisers Commission.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. For the record, Sandy Crawford, District 28. It's my privilege this morning to sponsor Shane Weber from Sedalia for the Missouri Real Estate Appraisers Commission. As you can see from his resume, he has over 20 years experience in the real estate appraising profession. He's earned many certifications and designations in the field, and he's won many awards, including Appraiser of the Year for West Central Association of Realtors for 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022. I'm not sure what happened the last few years, but he was on a roll there for a while. So my pleasure to sponsor him this morning.
All right, thank you. Do I have any questions? Senator Moon?
Yes.
Okay.
Good morning, Mr. Weber. Thank you.
Good morning, Senator.
I've had questions about appraisals of different structures, whether it be stick-built or steel. There are some changes, perhaps, that it could be made and may be necessary, but I want to get your opinion on manufactured homes, not trailers, but ones that are built in a confined building and then transported to the final location and then put together. They can be put on a basement as well. In your opinion, or have you had experience in appraising any of those?
Yes, sir. Manufactured homes are very common in our area in Central Missouri.
Okay. In your opinion, do they typically meet specs when you compare to stick building or the steel?
So manufactured homes are built to HUD code, not necessarily to local code. The quality of the homes have certainly changed over the years. I mean, if you can pull a home down a highway at 60 miles an hour, they have to be built pretty well. There's financing issues with them. When we appraise manufactured homes, we typically only look at other manufactured home sales. That's kind of a lender requirement, Fannie Mae requirement.
With the difference in standard, is HUD a higher standard or the local codes higher, or are they much the same?
Well, that's always going to depend on the local code. You know, local code varies in areas. HUD has a pretty stringent code, safety codes.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Yes.
All right, any other questions? This will be a quick day. Thank you for being willing to serve, and thank you for being here today. Next up is Jason Napuli, Senator Gregory for the Missouri State Board of Chiropractic Examiners.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, David Gregory, St. Louis County 15. Today it is my honor to introduce Dr. Jason Napuli to the Missouri State Board of Chiropractic Examiners. First and foremost, Dr. Napuli is a proud military man and public servant. He holds the rank of Major in the United States Air Force. He received his Doctor of Chiropractic from New York Chiropractic College in 2003. As a chiropractor, his professional experience is extensive. He's been widely published. He currently serves as a medical staff for the Department of Veterans Affairs and also for the PGA, which is pretty cool. Dr. Napuli he's shown he's a proven public servant. He's very competent, and he would be an incredible addition to the board. So it is my pleasure to sponsor Dr. Jason Napuli to the Missouri State Board of Chiropractic Examiners. And with that, he and I both will take any questions.
All right, thank you. Sorry for mispronouncing your name. Do we have any questions from anyone? All right.
Dr. Napoli, thank you again for being here. I noticed on the members, it looks like we're a little bit behind on getting the board up to current status. Have you been able to have any meetings, or have you been a part of any meetings to this point?
Good morning, Senator. No, at this point, I have not had any meetings
Okay.
or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm just curious if you're able to meet quorum and how that might advance your efforts or
Yeah.
maybe quash them.
Yeah.
So,
As you know, quorum is important.
yes, sir. Yeah. What do you see in the field of chiropractic that may be cutting edge that could be improved, or are there some practices that may need to be watched more closely? You don't have to give me any insights on something that you want to keep closed, but do you have some ideas that you'd like to foster?
Senator, that's a great question. I probably have to think a little longer on that to give you a full answer. But I recognize, working in a healthcare system, the practice of chiropractic has evolved quite a bit. It's a first-line approach for as a non-pharmacological intervention for chronic pain. And so fostering that idea and that growth, we have a problem, if you will, in Missouri with opioids and things like that. And so being part of that solution, I think is important. So.
When you mention that, we've had serious problems with veterans specifically, and there are some other groups that might have similar problems. Do you have regimens set up that you're treating veterans currently, and something that could be expanded and maybe made more of a general knowledge for even legislators or the communities where they can send patients to you for help?
Yeah, so within the Department of Veterans Affairs, there are what we call standard episodes of care, which is guidelines for treatment of various conditions. So,
Have you measured success with those treatments?
yeah, so I think part of the success of chiropractic as an intervention is widely published in the literature currently. I think if you look over the last 15 or 20 years, there's several hundred papers that are being published on the outcomes related to that care being received.
If you'd be willing to share those with me, I'd appreciate that.
Yes, sir, I could.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right, great, thank you.
I will follow up with you, and the rest of the committee as well. Yep. Thank you.
What's it take to be battlefield acupuncture certified? I'm trying to imagine that.
Yeah, so within VA, we perform a protocol called battlefield acupuncture. And it's a protocol that was first introduced in the early days of Iraq and Afghanistan and brought over to the field to being taught to the soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines, the medics. And so it was a quick intervention to care for them when they got injured, before they medevaced, after they medevaced, post-surgical, pre-surgical, widely used, and then has trickled into the VA probably for the last decade now.
Well, that's kind of amazing. Does anybody else have any questions or comments? Seeing none, thank you for your service. Thank you for
very much.
being willing to be here today and agreeing to serve in this capacity.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Next up is Michael Flagg, Senator Weber, appointed to be on the Credit Union Commission.
Morning, Madam Chair. Stephen Weber from the 19th District here to present Michael Flagg for the Credit Union Association. Michael Flagg grew up in Sykeston in the home of the senator from the 25th before moving to Boone County in the District of the 19th. And I would ask that the committee take note of Michael Flagg's move from the 25th District to the 19th as a sign of his excellent judgment and why he should probably be on this commission. Michael has a degree in history from the University of Missouri, a degree in nuclear engineering from Missouri S&T. He worked at the MU Research Reactor, being the associate director before moving to the private sector, where he's the vice president of a isotope company. He is active with in Boone County with Missouri Task Force 1 and also the Masonic Lodge, and has done a lot of fundraising for our local schools. I think he'd be an excellent addition to the board, and I would ask you to give him favorable consideration.
Well, darn. You could put up a nuclear plant for us, right? In between the credit
Yes, ma'am,
union.
Senator. I'm cheering it on, if nothing else.
I really don't have any questions. Does anybody else have any questions? Senator Bean.
I'm not sure your sponsoring senator did you any favors here, sir, but to clarify, you lived in Sykeston, is that correct?
I grew up in Sykeston, sir. I live in Columbia now.
The north part of Sykeston or south part of
North, off of Salcedo and Northwest Street.
Well, I've been always worried about your sponsoring senator being a little wrong on things, so I just want you to know it's actually the senator from 27th.
Oh, that was me. I misled him.
So-
I apologize. That would have been my fault. I thought I'd looked up that I was covered. But it was one of you gentlemen. All right.
Thank you for your willingness to serve.
No, I appreciate being considered.
Senator Williams.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate your willingness to serve. I was just looking at your background. It's really fascinating. I'm not sure if many people at that age at the time was interested in nuclear engineering. However, I think it's pretty fascinating. But what, between your background and your experience, which I think is really neat, by the way, what made you decide to pursue the Credit Union Commission?
Yes, sir, Senator. I'm a big proponent of the credit union system as part of the ecosystem for finance options. I like that it's close to the people. Groups such as teachers and union members or electrical workers, they can have their own resource apart from a bank. And as there are a couple of spots for non-credit union members on the commission, and I felt in my role, in my day job, so to speak, we often analyze regulatory impact of changes. So we have to worry about the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission and the U.S. FDA, sir, and the Department of Transportation, so I can get it to the patient. And sometimes these things conflict if they make a change. So I've been used to looking at, hey, where do the regulation changes intersect with how the work gets done on the field? My hope is I can contribute a little bit in analyzing any changes that might come through and say, hey, I've got this hat on. I'm not going to know all of the specifics probably, but I can hopefully ask some questions that illuminate what's going on.
Yeah, and I think you made a really good point, and this is something that's been at the top of my mind. Regardless of the industry, and I think you created a really fascinating nexus between your experience and why you're interested. I think if you're able to take that same approach, the data, I think there's a unique population of people who probably would benefit from gaining more information and maybe even more trust when it comes to financial institutions. And I think also being able to encourage people to participate a little bit more. So is that kind of tracking a little bit of?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone else? Seeing no further questions, thank you for being willing to serve, and thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Senator. I appreciate the opportunity.
Next up is Jenna Sweeney, sponsored by Senator Moon, also to be on the Credit Union Commission.
Sorry, I should have pulled that out for you. Good morning, Madam Chairman and committee, Chairwoman, forgive me. I forgot the whoa. You know, I should say that's how we know which bathroom to go to. It says whoa men, right? I'm here to present today Jenna Sweeney for the Credit Union Commission, and didn't really know Jenna until this week, actually, and we got to have a few conversations. Didn't know that she had graduated from SMS, and that tells a story because now it's MSU, right? So that has to be far back. I'm not going to ask you how far back. She since then has earned her MBA from WGU, started banking in 2014, and then she moved from the dark side to the credit unions in about 2023, I believe it was. She's been working at Telecom for a few years, and now she's taking on the task of becoming part of the Credit Union Commission. So I hope you'll have some questions, and I'll present to you Jenna Sweeney. Oh, and I should point out, too, one thing that I think is a highlight. I asked her for dirt. She wouldn't give me any. But she told me that the highlight of her life is her 2 boys.
Yeah.
So, Jenna Sweeney.
Is a what? Her highlight is
Her
what?
her 2 boys.
Oh, okay. Well, I have 4 boys, and so sometimes they're kind of the low light of my life. So maybe stopping at 2 would have been a good idea. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Senator Williams?
Feel free to send unsolicited advice on how to deal with 1 boy, because that feels like a lot. I'm sure Senator Luetkemeyer can relate.
Any other comments? Seeing none? Thank you for
Thank you
being here
very much.
today, and thank you for being willing to serve. Last up is Emmett Bryson, Senator Luetkemeyer, for the director. Did I miss somebody? Hang on a minute. I missed somebody. Well, too late. Go ahead. I'll come back to you. Yeah, we'll come back. Sorry.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. For the record, Tony Luetkemeyer, representing the 34th Senatorial District, here today to introduce Emmett Bryson, who has been nominated by the governor for appointment as the director of the Division of Credit Unions. Mr. Bryson has been with the Division of Credit Unions since 2007, serving as a senior examiner for 17 years. Prior to his time with the division, he spent over 12 years working at a Missouri credit union where he served in several capacities. He holds a bachelor's degree in business administration, his major in accounting from Missouri Western State University in St. Joseph. Mr. Bryson is an excellent candidate for the Director of Division of Credit Unions. I'm honored to support his nomination, and with that, we'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you. Any questions? What's the main difference between the credit unions and the banks?
Well, there are many
Yeah.
things that are the same. As far as differences, credit unions are non-for-profit. They have a volunteer board of directors that are elected from the membership, and it is a member-owned organization.
So do the credit unions follow the same, are they regulated by the same board, or not boards, but do they have the same oversight as the banks, I guess is my question.
They do follow many of the same regulations, but there are some that are unique to credit unions just because of the structure being different, being non-for-profit.
Okay. Any other questions? Yep, Senator Moon?
Just want to make a comment. I think it's worthy of noting that in our brief meeting this morning, I asked a similar question about what was the difference between your particular job in the division of credit unions as opposed to the commission. And there are some overlaps perhaps, but it was pointed out to me that you were appointed for this particular position because of all the praise that you had been given by those you had worked with before. So I think that's commendable, and appreciate you wanting to do this.
Thank you, Senator.
Any other comments? Seeing none, thank you for being here today. Thank you for being willing to serve. And now, Brian Eyestone, who is sponsored by Senator Beck for the Credit Union Commission.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the committee. Harrison has told me he's going to Photoshop this picture, so just so you know.
He looks like a bodyguard, and you have that Band-Aid on there, so we're...
I feel like I need a one, but that's
We're
cool.
wondering about that.
I am Senator Doug Beck, proudly representing the 1st Senatorial District, and today I'm proud to introduce Brian Eyestone to the Credit Union Commission. Brian has over 35 years of experience in the credit union industry. For the past 24 years, Brian has been the president and CEO of Members First Credit Union in St. Louis. During his tenure, Brian has implemented several successful programs such as Visa Platinum Credit Card, risk-based lending, a fixed-rate second mortgage program, a home improvement loan program, a first mortgage loan program, and with the FHLB, and a private loan program and business lending program. So he's been very busy, has done a lot with the credit unions. I'm confident that Brian will do a phenomenal job serving on the Credit Union Commission, and I know he will be happy to answer any questions, and it's definitely my honor to present him today. And I'm not answering any questions on anything.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions or comments? No? All right. Thank you for your willingness to serve. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
That concludes our hearing. I make a motion we enter into executive session. Do I have a second? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? We're now in the executive session. I move that we roll all 6 nominees and 4 reappointment into one slate. Do I have a second? Is there any discussion on that motion? Seeing no more discussion, all those in favor say aye. We now have the slate before us. I would move that we do pass the slate out of committee. Do I have a second? Is there any discussion on that motion? Seeing no more discussion, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senators O'Laughlin,
Aye.
Luetkemeyer, Bean, Beck, Bratton, Brown, he left to vote with the chair, Berger, Moon, Mosley, Roberts, he also left his vote, and Williams. 10 ayes, 0 no.
By a vote of 10 to 0, we have passed the slate. All those, I move that we adjourn. Second. Yes, all those in favor say aye. Aye. We are adjourned.